I believe there's only one way to build a track car in 2019 we'll collectively idolize sometime far down the road. Most track cars go the sterile route, sacrificing feel in the pursuit of lap times, while others pack in more power for a straight line rush, only to fall behind in the canyons.
And then there's this, the Shelby GT350R in all its glory, with all of its 8,200 RPM at my fingertips. Flat plane crank V8, I'm sure, as you guys already know. 305 tires in the front and 315s in the rear. Pilot Sport Cup 2s all the way around. I mean, this is America's answer to the 911 GT3 RS in every sense of that sentence. And today I'm going to explain to you guys exactly why I truly believe this just might be the last great Mustang Ford will ever build. What makes this car special is limited production numbers. First off, it's naturally aspirated, does not have any boost running through it. Ford has completely redesigned the definition of a modern American muscle car today with this car, which is just from the beginning what makes this car so incredibly special and rare especially in the world of American cars. It was such a departure when this car was first announced and released, such a departure from the normal, 662 horsepower supercharged GT500 that's all straight line speed. Oh man, yeah, waking up the neighbors with this car, probably the loudest factory car on the market you can buy. I hesitate to hear a car that might be louder from the factory than this. Maybe a Jag F-Type SVR, possibly. This being a manual transmission, a 6-speed manual, twin disc clutch, 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 from America that revs to 8,200 RPM. So for all you Europeans who think American cars cannot take corners, this is Ford's answer, and it pretty much shatters a lot of what a lot of European car fans kind of expected when this car first came out. That was 8,200 RPM. It's so alive. It's so alive. This is what modern cars are missing.
What separates the R is its ability to sacrifice its ego-pushing horsepower figure of the past in favor of more subtle, nuanced qualities. The concealed weapons. That carbon fiber wing is what you're looking for, a sign of stealth and flow displayed not as a trophy or focal point, but as a tool of the trade. Ford was the first major manufacturer in the world to fit carbon fiber wheels on a production vehicle, some of the lightest in the world, and they're painted black. The R doesn't care to tell you about its greatness. No, you'll feel it after you've shut the door and hit the gas. That's confidence.
Okay, so you got the carbon fiber wheels, you've got the carbon fiber wing. Other changes included are Ford was kind enough to take out the resonators in the exhaust, so this actually does sound a little bit more crazy than the standard 350. They did that to save weight, apparently, not for the sound. The sound's just a lovely byproduct. Handles brilliantly. Changes direction on a dime, too. But anyway, so they took out the back seats for weight savings. Air conditioning is an option in this car. This one has been fitted with AC, which is very, very good. Even here in BC and Canada, you need AC a couple days out of the year. And there's a few other slight mods to the front carbon fiber grille. There's carbon fiber composite all in the front grille by the radiator. And Ford has gone ahead and put a oil cooler, a transmission fluid cooler, and a differential cooler on this car. So unlike the C7 Z06, which has pretty much been notorious for overheating after a few laps on the track, Ford has eliminated all that with this. They've learned from their previous experiences, and this engine isn't even supercharged. So it's a lot less prone to heat soak to begin with, but Ford went that extra mile to make sure, hey, if somebody's buying a GT350R, chances are they're gonna put it through some track work, and they're gonna want it to last, and they're gonna want to be confident in that they can just focus on the steering, the shifting, the RPMs, and not have to worry about keeping an eye on the temp gauge the whole day. Previously, it was thought that, okay, Mustangs were only meant to have a huge fat torque in the middle, and that's it. And then they would run out of revs, and that would be the end of your day. That is no longer the case. There are two different schools of thought, and it's funny seeing other previous generation GT500 owners now look at this car and be like, I wouldn't like that. You know, they haven't driven it, but they might say, I wouldn't like that. You know, a Mustang's supposed to just kick a burnout or kick sideways immediately. This car's all about balance. It only has only 520 horsepower, plenty of power, and the power band is such that the car is never gonna get away from you on the street. Yes. There are only a few hundred of these in all of the country here in Canada, and only a few thousand in the entire continent of North America. A rare car, but not unattainable, which is what I like. You know, this is not, Ford recognizes this is not a LaFerrari. They cannot afford, kind of like the Ford GT, the original one, well, not the original, but the 2005 Ford GT. They can't afford to just make like 1,000 of these and stop, right? That will create a legacy, but you want as many people as possible to enjoy a car like this while keeping it special, which I think Ford has absolutely succeeded in doing here. To put it in perspective, if you want the wing itself, just straight from Ford Performance, hold your breath, you guys, 14 grand from Ford just for the wing. Each of these wheels go for about $4,000. So just the carbon fiber wheels alone are $4,000 a piece. 16 grand total if you're lucky for a set of these wheels. When you're exiting a corner and you get on power, as long as you've already got the suspension weighted up in the corner and you gradually add power to exit the corner, it wants to rotate more. Like, there is no sense of this car pushing or understeer. I mean, you have a 305 wide tire in the front of the vehicle. That is ridiculous, 305. Steering's easy, power steering's not too heavy, although especially in track mode and sport mode, it is so incredibly direct, and the amount that those carbon fiber wheels have over, like the step above that those provide in performance over the standard GT350 is astronomical.
Here's a side note. A McLaren Senna runs a 245 wide tire in the front, and a Corvette ZR1 is fitted with a 285. Only the Camaro ZL1 matches the Shelby's 305. It's just got so much raw grip and feel, which in an age of heavyweights and hybrids is really what we need right now. Yes, the new GT500 will be much faster and more powerful, but it'll also weigh more, and if you want a manual, that's not even an option, making the GT350R the last great Mustang Ford will ever build.
They've gone above and beyond what everybody expected from this car, which is why these cars will never lose value anytime in the future. I don't think ever. They might take a little bit of a dip after production stops just for, you know, a year or two, but then they're gonna shoot right up because production stopped. And then people realize, just like the 2005 Ford GT, originally sold for around $150,000 US, is now worth upwards of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 after they stopped production, because everyone was like, wait, you stopped? You're not making this car anymore? Oh shoot, I made a mistake not buying one. I gotta go get one now, right? But this is just in a league all of its own, not only within the realm of American muscle cars, like going up against the Challenger and the Camaro and the Corvette, etc., but in the world stage of world-class track cars that are still street legal. I mean, there's not much else that can touch this in terms of a driving experience, the theater behind how this car reacts to your throttle inputs and your steering. I've never driven a car that sounds like this. I've got to say, I think this is my favorite American car I've ever driven. And I think it's going to be a long time before I get into something that's really going to wow me like this car from America. I think, no, I haven't driven a Demon, full disclosure, and no, I have not driven a Ford GT. So as far as American cars that I've driven, this definitely seems to have the most soul. It doesn't feel like it's just, let's stick the most amount of power in a pretty nice chassis and just make it go in a straight line as fast as possible. It does the best burnouts, etc., etc. This is not that. If you're looking for monstrous instant torque at 3,000 RPM, you're not going to get it, or at least you're not going to get the monstrous part of it. You're going to get instant torque because it's perfectly naturally aspirated. It's very comfortable. These standard Recaros in the R, very comfortable, great materials. It is a Ford, so you do have some like hard plastic over here, but everything you're looking at is fantastic. I love the gauge cluster in this car. You've got your analog tach, you've got your analog speedo, and then you've got a little digital display in the center showing what mode you're in, etc. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, my name is Marcus. You're watching Roads Untraveled. Subscribe if you have not already. We've got some really cool and special cars coming up. I hope you enjoyed this quick video with the 350R. This is the best day ever. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and you can check out exactly what we're filming on a day-to-day basis. And that's about it. We've got new engine code jet takes on our store. You can check that out in the link below. But other than that, this is the 350R. Thank you guys so much.